Thank you, everybody, for joining the Bassfug podcast. Today, we have a very special guest from Sydney, Australia, I believe.
Yes, that's correct.
We're here with Pretence, a.k.a. Ben. Ben, thank you for joining us today. Totally appreciate it.
No worries, man. Thank you for having me.
So, Ben, how are you dealing with this whole coronavirus bullshit? How is your life? What's it like being a DJ during this?
Man, it's absolutely crazy. Like, I can't even fathom what's even happening in 2020. Like, there's like the coronavirus, the whole racism and police brutality, and even in Australia, like earlier this year, towards the end of last year with the bushfires. Man, I don't even know what's happening in 2020, man. But like, I guess this whole pandemic is giving all these producers an excuse to be home and just write heaps of music and get creative with all their time being at home, I guess.
Are you writing more music now, or are you just taking this time to chill?
It just depends. Like, I feel like with production, I feel like you can't force creativity. I feel like it's really important to just be inspired and write when you have those ideas there. I feel like getting out of the house and even just going for walks or just doing like little other things outside of music is really important to get those ideas going. But yeah, no, I'm definitely writing a lot more music during ISO than as normal, I guess. Everyone's different. I feel like everyone's different. Like, there's a lot of other artists who feel like because they're not getting any shows, any gigs, their creativity is lacking, I feel. But yeah, everyone's different, I think.
How do you find creativity and inspiration?
Yeah, it's just like it's so weird because like I'm pretty sure like a lot of other producers will agree with me. It's just these ideas and like it's just a simple melody for a bass line will just come to your brain at the most random times. Like we're not even thinking about music. I could just be in the shower, just chilling, washing, and then boom, a melody comes in my head. I'm like, how does this even happen? It's just like, it's so weird, man. And like, it's even just like, even like when I'm just sleeping at night, like 4 a.m, like I'm dead asleep, and then just in my mind, a melody just pops up. I'm like, okay, we'll go with that then. And I get up, I'm like half asleep. I get my phone out, go on my voice memos and just record a dodgy ass voice memo so I don't forget it. Because there's been so many times where I've like had a voice memo and I've just, I've had just an idea and I just forget to record it and I just never think of it again. And it sucks. But I feel like it's really important to, like, as I was saying before, is to go out and go for walks and just do other hobbies outside of music to kind of bring on that creativity, I guess.
Yeah, we were talking about it on a previous episode where there's been studies that show, like, how some people bring their laptops to coffee shops to do work or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
There's parts of your brain that have to do with like when we used to be like hunters, and novelty really stimulates the brain. So like if you go out for a walk or something, it actually works. It's not bullshit. It's a real thing. Yeah.
Weird. Hey? It's weird. It's really weird. But like, I think that's really important to actually get out of the house, because a lot of, producers will sit there in front of the computer and just think, write something. And I feel like sometimes it really doesn't work. But then other times, if you play around even with like sampling, like just samples you have and it's resampling, and like you can just play around with that, and obviously you can get ideas like that. But for me, I like just getting out of the house and just trying to think of what's around me, even like going abandoned buildings, because obviously my music's like a lot like I really love all the like dark industrial kind of stuff. So I feel like going to those kind of places and even abandoned warehouses and stuff really brings on that creativity, I guess.
Yeah, I heard that. You did like a Evanescence flip, I think, right?
Yeah, I was at work and it just I heard it on the radio. I was like, damn, I love the plucky like synth in that song. It's so old and it's just a banger. And my dad plays like rock and roll, and he's killer on the guitar, and I feel like he's definitely given me that interest with metal and like just that really grungy guitar sounds. I've actually got a new song I'm working on right now, and I actually sampled off his guitar. I plugged his guitar into my interface, and it's just like I've just recorded, like I've had a melody for like an idea of a song. I was like, Dad, play this. Can you play it? He's like, yeah, easy. Smashed it out, recorded on my on Ableton, and like now I'm just playing around with it, trying to get a little bit cleaner. But I did remix the Evanescence one because it's just I love like all the really grungy guitar kind of sounds, I guess.
Yeah, I noticed your synth leads are really distorted. Like Viper is a really dope song. I like that song.
Yeah,
and it's really it's got a lot of balls on it, you know.
Yeah, it's got that really heavy, oomphy hit. Hey, like a lot of my tunes, like the electro, it's definitely, I almost find that my music's probably more electro than bass house sometimes, but it's happened because when I was like 20 years old, actually no, not even 20, I'm 22 now, sorry. When I was like 15, 16, I used to go to JB Hi-Fi every weekend and buy Ministry of Sound Australia CDs, and all that was just slapping Dutch house, electro, like artists like Proxy, and Australian artists like Tonight Only, Tom Piper, who's also known as Low 99 now. It's where they all used to play like heavy ass like electro, like really like just banging electro, and I used to love it so much. And I feel that's where a lot of my music's come from, because I used to like just save up by working at my sandwich shop every week just to buy a Ministry of Sound CD, and I just loved it. Hey, just loved it.
So let's talk about how you first got into music. You said your dad does some rock music. It's cool that you guys collab. So I guess he influenced you at a young age.
Well, actually, not gonna lie, I was never really interested in like guitars, playing guitar. I don't know why, and I've always like I just never really thought about it. And but I don't know. It's just there's this thing about like really heavy like grungy guitar sounds that I just really like, and I had just an idea of a song, and that's why I asked my dad to record the sound, because he's got like about 10, 15, 20 guitars, and
cool.
Yeah, I was just really interested in like just trying to like see if I can just do something a little bit different, and it worked out. I'm actually really keen on finishing that, to be honest. But yeah, as I was saying before, my love for like electronic music definitely came from the Ministry of Sound CDs, and like actually when I first actually started listening to electronic music, I was actually listening to hardstyle. Crazy, hey? It's just like I used to have like the full, like I'm not sure if you've heard of them, called Phat Pants. Have you heard of them before?
No, like the actual Phat Pants, or it's a DJ.
Well, no. So they're Phat Pants. What people like the shufflers back in the day used to use.
Yeah. Of course, I know what Phat Pants are. Yeah. I thought it was some guy was calling himself Phat Pants. I was like, okay.
No, like we used to wear like these full suspenders, and they had like these really fluoro green like pants, and I used to like love like shuffling to hardstyle music. Headhunters,
nice. Evil Activities, Neophyte.
Yeah. Brennan Hart, Noise Controllers, heaps of those guys, and like I used to like put up YouTube videos of me like shuffling all the time, and like I was actually like half decent. Like one of the videos got like 40,000, 50 views, and I was like, holy shit, that's sick. But then it kind of like just died off, and then I started listening to more like, it's kind of like transitioned from more like hardstyle to like electro to like house, and then just kind of this whole spectrum of like mid-tempo electronic bass house music, tech house music, I guess. It was weird, like it happened probably the transition from like hardstyle to that kind of stuff happened within over like 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just started like moving away from like hardstyle, and now I don't really like listening to it anymore. Like I really love like the old melodic like hardstyle tunes, and that's actually another thing with my songs. Like I love listening to with my songs, I like having like a lot of melodic intros, and that's why I feel like a lot of my songs come from that hardstyle, really melodic kind of tunes. Like I feel like Headhunters were really a big part of that. I feel. Yeah. Just like the dun 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 dun, you know, any simple thing like that I just loved, and that's why I love like, my songs. I love all the call and responses. Just something that really catches you. Like, when I make a song, I want something that that people can listen to and like it gets really stuck in their head. Like it's something that just that melody that really keeps going. And it's like, oh, I love that. Like it's just really catchy. That's why but obviously every song is different, and it just depends. Sometimes you can have a really grungy, filthy song that doesn't really need too much of a melody, but it just works. But at the same time, I love something that really like makes someone like think they really enjoy the song because it's really catchy and they keep thinking about it. You know what I mean?
And you know, those hardstyle guys, like you'll see in a lot of like EDM bass packs, they'll say like a stadium lead, and then you click on it and it's just stuff that sounds like you said, like stuff from that hardstyle's been doing for the last 2 decades, you know, like the super saw, like da 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 da, da like kind of stuff.
I love that shit, man.
Yeah, those guys really mastered that.
Trancy, like big electro sounding reverby synths. Fucking love it.
So at what point did you decide that you wanted to make your own music instead of, you know, shuffling?
Well, actually, that's a good question. So I actually started DJing before production.
Okay.
So I still remember when I bought actually my first controller. So my mate Isaac, he knew how much I used to like listen to the Ministry of Sound CDs, and I was just out at the shops with my mum and him, and I seen this Newmark Mixtrack Pro controller. Okay. It was like $200-$300, and I was like to my mate, I was like, should I get this? And he was like, yeah, get it, man. Like, you really enjoy music, why not? And I was like, yeah, sick. So I bought it, and I was just messing around with that for ages. And the funniest thing is that like I was doing heaps of like house party gigs after a couple months after I bought those, and I had no idea how to mix. I honestly thought I was fucking killing it. I didn't know how to beat match. I used to just like kind of like fade out songs and just bring the next one in. And I was like, oh yeah, that transition was sick. Yeah. And like at the same time, people are like at parties, people are drunk. They don't really.
It's true.
They don't really take much notice. Obviously, there's gonna be a lot of people who will notice that. But at the time when I started DJing, I had no idea what like beat matching was. And then eventually, like after like a couple of times, like maybe a year or two, I actually learned how to do it.
Well, you got to start somewhere, man. You can't.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I bought heaps of equipment. I bought like a strobe lights and like smoke machines and all these little cool lasers. It was pretty fun, but like it's really funny because like every time I did a house party, there's always guys who want that really dirty, like electronic music, and the girls always want hip hop and R&B every time. So I was like, oh, this sucks, because like all I want to do is play like bangers. I just want to play like filthy ass dirty bangers. And all the boys loved it. And then eventually I was just doing that. But obviously when I was doing gigs, I had to cater for what the person's birthday was. If they wanted like me to play Chris Brown and that, it's cool. I could do it. Like I used to mix hip hop and R&B all the time. It was actually pretty fun because the girls loved it. And then eventually, like I turned 18, and then I started moving on to clubs, and then I wasn't really doing house parties like as much. But the house parties were really good money. Like I was making $400-$500 a night. But that was for like 6 hours. I used to get like really, really tired. I had to go there at like 6 p.m., put all my equipment in there, like set up everything, and then like I wouldn't get home until like 12 at night. Yeah. And like it was really exhausting, but I did that like once or twice a week, so I was making some really good money. But then because obviously my love for like electronic music like just evolved a lot more, and then I started like doing more club gigs, and then started production, and then I guess that's how it all worked out. Wow,
$500 a week. I'd be lucky if I make that in 1 year off royalties. That's cool. Yeah. So when you started DJing first, and then you started to produce, did your dad have like gear laying around? Did he show you, or did you just like kind of go down the YouTube rabbit hole?
No, man. Like I had like I was just listening to it. Like my mates were giving me shit all the time. I was DJing. They were like oh, they're really weird about this because they're not massive on EDM, but they always gave me shit about this. They were like, I was playing a song. They were like, I was like, do you like the song? And they're like, yeah, it's cool. I'm like, yeah, it's mad. And they're just like, oh, well, you didn't make it though. I'm like, yeah, so? And like, yeah, but you didn't make it. I'm like, oh fuck. And he's I was like, okay, I need to like, I don't know, they gave me shit about for not making my own music, and I just, over time I just started like producing and started making more tunes and just fucking around with shit. And like, it took me about a solid like a year, maybe almost 2 years to like start like have an idea of know what I'm doing. And actually I've been producing for about 5 years now, and the first year or two, you've definitely heard of the artist named Blank, JP.
Okay.
Have you heard of Blank before?
Never.
Yeah, okay. So he's from Australia, and he's currently living in LA right now. He's like doing massive shows, like pretty much all around the world now. Okay. He's killing it. And he used to do all like mixed masters for me. So when I first started producing, I had no idea what mixing and mastering was. I was just messing around with samples and just trying to put a song together, you know what I mean? And it like I had really no idea what mixing and mastering was. And then obviously, as this was actually kind of before he actually got really, really big, and as he progressed and like shuffled towards like, you know, doing overseas shows and stuff, my mixing skills like started getting better. And that's when now I'm stoked to actually like know how I want my song sounding, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because when I sent my song to JP for mix and masters, he'd have to like send it back and forth, you know, about seven, 8 versions I want changed about, you know, in each part of the song, you know what I mean? Because like every single person, you know, they have a different ear for a certain sounds and how they want a certain song sounding, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like, for example, like just a kick. I was like, oh, this kick's too muddy, or like this kick, the snare's it's too high, it's too loud. And like now, because I can do that myself now, obviously it's simple things like that, but it just makes time so much easier, the fact that I can just do this all myself now.
And your sound is really the key, right? It's what differentiates you from everybody else. So yeah, even if your kicks or snares or whatever sound a little bit different, people will notice it and they'll
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I feel like learning how to mix. Actually, I think mixing and mastering is a lot different. Mastering is also a really good skill to have, because you can just smash out a version and you can go to a show and you can test it out at a club, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't have that ability to master, you have to wait till the person who's doing it for you to send you a version, and then you can do it, which may take a couple of days, because let's face it, people are busy, people have other things to do. Yeah. And it's not like they can just get a song out for you like straight away, you know what I mean?
Especially if the guy gets famous and moves to Los Angeles, you know, then you're out of a guy who's going to master your songs for you.
Exactly.
What kind of gear are you using? You're using Ableton, I presume?
Using Ableton. I've got 2 KRKs, 6 inches.
Okay.
And they're pretty good. I've got a microphone. I've got Scarlett Solo interface, and I've got a Akai MIDI keyboard, but I don't really use it much because I just type most of the melodies on my laptop.
Wow,
but
it's all in box.
Yeah. If I'm really struggling with the melody, I'll try that and see how it goes. But I don't really play much piano, but I should learn how to do it, because I feel that like chords and melodies are really important to learn.
What VSTs are you using? Like what are you gravitating towards for your synths and for mixing and mastering?
Serum, I always use Serum.
Okay.
And Massive, I feel like Massive is really good for like suburb bass. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's just really good for like, it's got like a lot of presets there that you can just grab. And I feel like low end is something that it's not like you can grab it's not like with Massive, if you chuck in a sub bass preset, it's not like a producer's going to say, oh, I can hear that sub bass preset, because yeah. it's like subs so low. It's not like someone's going to pick up on that. Whereas like a bass or like a synth, people will notice. But sub bass, that's why I really like Massive, because you don't really have to adjust too much of it. It's just got some really cool like presets you can just use that really just fill out the song that no one's going to notice, and it's just it's part of the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you find people dog you a lot in general in the industry, where people, if they hear preset, they give you shit for it, or?
I I feel they can, but I honestly think there's nothing wrong with using presets as long as you change them around and make them sound different so that no one knows.
Man, some of the most famous songs have presets, you know.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
Lately Bass on the Yamaha TX7, it's an old FM synthesizer that sound's been on everything. Or there's a piano sound on the Korg M1. Every house record used it, you know.
Yeah.
It's weird how everyone has to be a mad scientist with the sound in order to, in some circles, you know. And most of the listeners don't even care, you know. They just want it to sound good. Right.
Exactly. And like, that's why I feel that's what separates producers and general listeners. So like general listeners, obviously when I first started listening to music, it's not like I'm going to hear a really awesome song from one of my favorite producers and say, oh, I know that preset. Like I'm not going to give a shit. Like, whereas producers who have been doing it for a while, a couple of years, they'll notice and they'll say, okay, I don't like that because I've known that, I know that sample or I know that preset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I feel like I use presets all the time. I just change them around so they don't sound the same. But I love sound design as well. I bought a synthesizer. It's only a really tiny ass synthesizer like a couple months ago, and it's called a Volca modular synthesizer.
Okay. Yeah.
And like I do a lot of sampling with it. So I plug it into my interface, and I kind of just mess around with knobs. Honestly, I don't even know what I'm doing half the time.
Yeah,
I just keep changing it until it sounds like grungy and cool, and I sample that, record it into like a folder of like Pretence noise, and then like if I'm working on a song and I'm like, okay, this needs something, I'll just chuck it in there, drag it in, maybe obviously give it a bit more distortion if it needs it, mix it, and then if it's out of key, just change it, put it in key, and then if it works, it works, it doesn't. And I feel like production trial and error is really important too. Like sometimes things work, sometimes they don't, and it takes a while to kind of like get that certain thing you want like right. I feel like it's really hard to get something perfect always the first time. Like that's a really hard thing to do. If that's what I feel anyway. So
how's that Volca working out for you? I looked at one. I wasn't sure whether to pick it up or not. Like what kind of sounds can you get out of it?
Really like grungy, like robot sounds. It's got like a micro tune, like filter on it. That can give you like that really spacey kind of like sound.
Okay.
It's got your ratios, it's got your modulation, it's got your fold. And then also you've got like these little wires. You can obviously connect it to each like input. If you want like a woggle, that kind of sounds, it's got all these all these little modulations on it. It's pretty cool. I honestly haven't really fully worked it out on how to use it heaps well, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Like you can get some really grungy sounds in there as well.
Yeah, I'm new to modular too. I just bought a K2. It's like an MS-20 clone, and there's all these patches on it. And I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I just plug in the wires, waiting to get some sounds or whatever. You're talking
some
about
of the modulations.
Oh, sorry. No. Go.
Some of the modulations, like I've seen on video, I forgot what that guy was called. He puts up videos and like it's just like a massive fucking space station of like all these wires going to these fucking like synthesizers, and it's just like a fucking like a rocket. It's like in a space system. And it's just making loopy noises and glitches. I'm like, holy fuck, this guy's insane. And like some of the modulations people out there, like some people aren't even producers, or like they're not even like DJs. They're just people that just like working with synthesizers. And there's some crazy people out there who I feel like a lot of people don't really know about, because they're the ones that that are making these Serum plugins and massive plugins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're talking about we were talking earlier about the coronavirus stuff. How are you dealing with the no shows? Have you been streaming? Have you been playing like I know some people have been streaming sets, but like in front of an empty audience, just like on Facebook Live or something. Have you been doing any of that?
Yeah, dude, I've done a couple of live streams. I've done like 2 or 3 from home, and then actually a couple of nights ago we did an event. Me and my couple of mates, we actually hired out a little venue, and we called the event Splendor in the Gong, and it was pretty cool. Like we streamed it on Twitch, and it's got like we had like this massive like sound system, and awesome like lights and smoke machine. Like all of us played a 40-minute set, and we just it was pretty cool. Like we had all these different flavors of like drum and bass, and like obviously my electro and like tech house and dubstep track. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool night, and I think it went well. I'm gonna post some videos soon from that as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah, no, I mean that's all we can do, I guess. Like some artists out there are doing just not doing live streams because they feel like their shows are really special. They don't want people to see on like their shows from a screen. They want people to experience a live show. Everyone's different, but yeah, I guess like at the end of the day, people are like just trying to do whatever they can to try and promote their branding and build their following. Like it's hard to do, especially because of COVID. Because I mean, what else can you do? What you put out music and you do live streams. It's pretty much all you can do at the moment, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you? How are the live streams? Are you seeing like a positive vibe from it, or is it kind of going under the radar?
It just depends. Like I feel like some people really need to like promote like their setup and when they're going to do it. Some people just do it. Some people just say, "Hey, I'm going live in 5 minutes," and that's it. And sometimes it works. Some people will say, some people will be like, oh, "Okay, I don't really care." But like I did my first live stream I did at home. That was really cool. Like I did a electro throwback set. So I had like all that old school like Ministry of Sound bangers, and people were loving it because I want people to know that like that's where my sound comes from, and I feel like that set especially people were really enjoying because they know that's where all my sound comes from, I guess. But yeah, no, the live streams have gone pretty well. Obviously, it's nowhere near as good as what like shows and live gigs are, but that's what you can do, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What is your live setup? Is it laptop and Ableton? Are you using CDJs? How do you play?
I've got an XDJ RX controller, so it's like a mini like CDJ 2000s in one.
Okay.
So you can plug in USBs in it, and you don't have to plug a laptop in it. And yeah, it's pretty cool. You can record your mixes and stuff. I feel like most producers and DJs out there have that one because it's the cheapest model, I think. Like CDJ 2000s are like, plus the mixer are like $6-7 grand. It's just ridiculous. But if you want that kind of equipment, that kind of quality, people will buy it. But at the moment, this controller is all I need to practice like shows or sets, even for live streams. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think is the best way to grow a fan base? You said you've only been producing for 5 years, but I see you have a lot of followers. You have a crap load of streams on Spotify. What advice do you have for people that are just getting into the game to get a fan base?
Man, I feel what the most important thing is marketing and promoting your music, making sure when you're putting out a song, you send it to all your friends. And like, I feel like if you, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, sometimes when you're talking, you kind of just have a mind blank.
No. Yeah. But it's a deep subject.
Exactly. Promotion is really important. I feel like putting a song out once every month is really important. Because like if you aren't very consistent with your releases, people are going to get bored. And if you put a song out once every 3-4 months, but at the same time, quality over quantity for sure. Anytime, quality over quantity. And there's a lot of people out there who haven't put out any music yet, and they just want their song to be perfect because they want to make sure, like when they go live with their branding, they want to make sure that the song is good. So then people they know they're gonna they're gonna get that kind of attention. You know what I mean? I've got a friend. I'm not gonna say who it is who's rebranding. He's got an awesome amount of followers, but he feels like his project isn't going as well as he wants to be. So I think he's scrapping it, or I think he's using the same socials, but like he's just changing everything around, and he's just going fresh for a different style of music. I won't say who it is because that will spoil it. But yeah, even like if you put out a song, you need to make sure you're in all these groups. You need to if you need to post a song on your producer groups on Facebook. Hey guys, my new song's out. Would love to know what your thoughts are. Posting your song, even like simple things. You put out a new song, you're promoting it on your Facebook. You say, hey guys, this is my new song. Put it in the comments. Because let's face it, people are really lazy. They'll click the link. They'll just click it, they'll see the post and then they might be like not interested, but if they really want to hear the song, they actually have to go in the comments and then grab that link. And most of the time, more than half the time, they'll give you a like if they really like it. You know what I mean? It's simple things that are really important. Like promotion is the really most important thing. Actually, I've got a notes here that I actually sent to my friends out. So if you're not releasing on a label, you need to, in your self-releasing, you need to use a music distribution website. So if I'm doing a self-release, you send your music out on DistroKid, and it's like $12 a year. It's cheap as, and it gets your music out on all the platforms like Spotify, Beatport. You know
TikTok.
what I mean? TikTok. Like that's really important. Like, but if you got a label release, they'll get all the promotion out for you on all the platforms as well. And even like when you're sending a song out to a label, make sure it's always simple, not straight to the point. Like just say, hey guys, I'm really big fan of your label. Here's my song. Let us know what you think. And always make sure it's a mix and master and make sure it's finished. Don't send half-assed projects to labels because I feel it's very unprofessional, especially if you want to release with them. And it's cool if they say, hey, this is a cool track, but that's not for us. I mean, I've had heaps of rejections before. Happens to the best of us. It even happens to the biggest DJs in the world. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even when you have a song that's coming out, in a couple of weeks' time, send it out and promo to DJs promo emails. Just say the same thing. Say, hey, big fan of your music. Here's my new song coming out in a couple of weeks. And it's really good if they like it, it's really good to get that support to show people that these DJs are supporting your music, because it's weird. If you put out a song and it's doing really well, people see that these big ass DJs, these big ass DJs are listening to it and playing it. They're going to think, okay, this must be a really good song. It's weird how the human brain works. You can put out a song and no one will be interested in it, but you can put out a song, gets all this support from all these big ass DJs. People will say, oh, this is awesome. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's weird how the human brain works.
It's called social proof. That's the concept. It's like if you go into a bar with like four girls, there's going to be all these girls that are like, oh, who's that guy? But if you go in by yourself, they're going to be like,
exactly, man. And another thing, I've got a couple of other notes here. So even like trying to organize an article, a blog write-up for your song. I've had a couple of write-ups from Your EDM, which makes it look awesome. Yeah. They do a little if they like a song, obviously they might not like the song, they might not do a write-up, but you plan that write-up, and then once the song comes out, a couple of days later, you say, shout out to Your EDM for the write-up with Dynamite Day Summit. Even though that hasn't happened, but it's just it makes you look really professional, and people see that you're doing well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have money, it's really helpful for these days. You can pay for some promotion for Spotify playlisting and even some SoundCloud repo things. Because at the end of the day, SoundCloud is really dying. It's really sad to see because I love using SoundCloud over Spotify because I find all this underground music, but it's not getting the same amount of reach as what it used to a couple of years back.
You're sorry, one sec. Your phone was breaking up there. You said you could buy promotion. What was the companies that you were saying?
There's no companies, but you can pay for repost, SoundCloud repost streams.
Okay,
and some Spotify playlisting, which is really important as well.
Yeah, it sounds weird, but it actually works. I tried it on one song once. I bought like 1,000 plays or something just because it was like $5, and I was like, whatever. That's one Starbucks that I don't need, And it was crazy. The song ended up getting to like 9,000 plays. It was unreal.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. But it's kind of different. So it's not paying for plays. It's actually paying for playlisting. So
playlisting, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I obviously always want my music to be by 100% like real listeners. So if I have to pay, I work full time. At the end of the day, I still need to make money. I use that money to pay for some, every time I have a release, I pay for some promotion. Yeah. Because I have to. Like sometimes I don't really want to put out a song and just nothing happens. You know what I mean? Like it's really important. That's what I was saying before. Promotion and marketing is the most important thing. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like that with everything. A movie, if they release a new Star Wars, well, you don't think it's going to be on every billboard for the next 2 months, right? You got to advertise, or else no one's going to find out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like there's heaps of things. It's even like if you're putting out a song, people say they put out a track. They put out a photo of the artwork. Hey, this is my new song. Hope you guys go check it out. Like click the link. And let's face it, people are lazy. People will say, okay, well, there's no video there. I'm just going to keep scrolling through my newsfeed. Keep scrolling. So that's why every time you put a song out, post a video. That's the most important thing. People are lazy at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's why I feel every time you should put a release out, Instagram, Spotify, Twitter, put out a video of your song. That's the most important thing I feel. Yeah, like I do that like all the time now. I used to like when I first started putting out music, it was just like put out an artwork, go like click the link and listen to my song, but it didn't always work all the time.
Yeah, you know, with this podcast, I was thinking of posting as a Facebook video on Facebook, but I posted to the weird RSS feed, and it's like people are like, "What the hell is this?" You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's just really important. Like it's like when you're posting a new song, put out the artwork, say, you know, Dynamite out, you know, in 3 days, and then when the song comes out, put out the video. You know what I mean? That's why I feel artwork and always video second. That's the most important thing, I feel, because there's a lot of underground producers who I see who are putting out absolute banger tunes, but they're not promoting their music right.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that everyone's like a lot of underground producers are lacking in. It's just marketing and promotion. Like if booking agents see your promotion and your socials are doing well, you get your higher chances of getting these shows and getting these opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because but at the end of the day, there can be a lot of talent, like people who are looking for talent who don't care about your promotion. They're looking for good quality music, and it happens. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They say, this guy's fucking sick. I love his sound design. He doesn't have he doesn't have the following that I wanted, but let's make him, you know, the next level because his production's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But more than half the time, people are looking for people who have unfortunately, people who have a bigger following and who are doing well with their socials. It's like my friend Volek. He's from where's he from? He's somewhere from Europe. His sound design, he's absolutely incredible. He's got about 3,000, 4,000 followers on SoundCloud. He sent a demo to one of his like favorite labels, and the label was like, "This song's insane. It's insane, but your following isn't that high, and we can't accept the demo." I'm like,
"Oh, what? That sucks."
Ridiculous, man. I was like that's the kind of world we live in at the moment. It's just fucking ridiculous.
I hate.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's really annoying. Because like he's one of the most insane producers I've ever seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
but it's like you could be like an old guy like me and hate on that like mentality, but the reality is you have to adapt if you want to survive. You know? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it sucks like that, man.
Do you have any tips for mastering and mixing? Because some of your new tracks, they sound really, really good.
Thanks, man. So I don't do all my mastering. I do some of my mastering because actually only within the last 6 months I've actually learned to do my own mastering. But mixing tips I can definitely give you guys is that mixing point. Important is EQ. You always have to get an ear for eliminating unwanted frequencies in your basses or your kicks, even your percussion. There's always this muddy area in your mids and your lows that people don't seem to cut out, and it shows when people put out a song. It's just like, fuck. Now that I'm a producer now, I can't help it but listen to the mix and say, oh, this snare could definitely need this tweaking. You know what I mean? I can't help it. I never used to be like that when I first started DJing, but now I do. And I'm pretty sure most producers will agree with me as well. So EQ, most important thing. Distortion. With EQ, you don't even need any massive plugins. You got if you use Ableton, you got Ableton's EQ. It's literally all you need. So distortion, like there's always like people who are starting out production, they put out songs and the basses are lacking that drive and oomph. I'll give you like 5 of my favorite distortion plugins that just work. Obviously, you got saturation. That's even with Ableton. It's actually not even really considered like a distortion thing. All it does is just gives you that kind of like that loudness and a bit of drive to it. It's not even like it's completely manipulating the sound, but it's like you got distortion. So you got saturation. You got Trash. Trash 2 is an awesome plugin. It's like $100. I use it all the time. It's got all these distortion presets on there that you can just chuck on a bass, and it's not like someone would even notice that you've used that kind of distortion, because every single bass is every single sound that you're distorting is different. So it's not like it's not like no one's actually going to notice that you're using that distortion preset, which is awesome. So that's why I like using Trash, but you can also do your own distortion outside of just using the presets as well.
And the Trash presets are based off of 9 Inch Nails and bands anyways, right? So
Exactly. You've also got Camel Crusher. That's a really old one, but I use it all the time. It's got like a couple of like distortion presets on there. You got Sausage Fattener by Data Life. That one's awesome. I use that in my masters. I'm not sure if people can use that for your masters, but it works for me. And then you've also got OTT, and that's with Ableton as well. It's just knowing how to use the kind of right distortion plugins for the right thing. Sometimes I might even have to use Camel Crusher twice. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just about how you process things in your rack. And doing it in the right order. So that's EQ and distortion done. Sidechain is really important. So what sidechain is, you got your kick and then you got your bass. Obviously, if you have no sidechain, your kick and your bass are going to be clashing. Yeah. So your kick isn't going to be coming through the bass. So what it is, I use a thing called LFO tool. It's like a plugin, and it's like, I don't know, I think it was like $60. I think it's an awesome tool. You can choose the amount of transient you want on your sidechain. So if you want your bass completely ducking, you can have it'd be like cutting it halfway, and you can your kick will be punching out a lot cleaner in the mix. And you can also use it for other things, not even just like sidechaining a kick. You can like choose the amount of you can be ducking certain sounds in your percussions. But I use LFO tool for my sidechaining for my basses, which is an awesome tool, and I know a lot of other producers use that as well. Compression I don't use too much. Compression is just kind of bringing up certain frequencies or cutting out certain frequencies that you don't really want there. I don't really use it too much. I feel like compression is really important, but I personally don't use it too much. But yeah, EQ, distortion, and sidechain are the most important things I can recommend for mixing and for any underground producer, I think.
You just mentioned something that I thought is very interesting. You put the Sausage Fattener, which is a distortion plugin, on your master.
Yes, correct.
So won't that distort the entire master, or you just put like a little bit of it?
Just a little bit. Just obviously, if you go, that's what I mean. If you have the ear for it and you just put a little bit into it, it will sound good. Wow. But if you obviously driving it, you can actually lose it. Honestly, it might not be the right technique for me, but it's actually worked. It's worked. I don't know. It works for me.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm not joking.
I was saying to my mate, he's like, "Oh, I remember when I used to do sausage fat on my masters." I'm like, "What's that supposed to mean?" And but yeah, no, it works for me. Now I can actually just test out my masters, see how they sound. But if I want a song that's actually, I want like a really, really solid master, I'll just get my friend to do it. He kills it every single time.
Because I think I'm going to try that with that plugin, because sometimes I'll just overdrive stuff to tape, like a cassette tape, because I like that sound. But it's the same thing, kind of, if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So when it comes to sound design, I think we're getting close to the end of the interview. And once again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
That was really awesome.
What are some good sound design tips for newbies and people getting in there? Because I was listening to some of your leads and they're really good. You know, like you said, they have that crunch to it. It's kind of like an element that's outside of the scope of EDM. You know, it's more like industrial, like you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. When you talk about sound design, you're talking about like everything in a song, like when it comes to like kick, even like basses or like.
Let's talk about your bass leads. What are you using for your bass leads?
Most of my bass leads are obviously in Serum, and I've just got obviously like a lot of distortion on there. I've got my trash, as I said before, saturation, Camel Crusher, OTT. It's because obviously I've discovered my kind of sound now. I kind of really know what I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I'm really feeling like not very creative, I'll flick through a preset and just kind of like it gives me an idea where what kind of sound I'm looking for, and I can just tweak it around. But what you can actually do with Serum is an awesome thing. Is you can drag in certain samples into Serum, and it'll give you your waveforms, and you can play around with the modulations to try and get that sweet spot. And once you get your sweet spot, you can actually get some really cool effects on your synths. I feel like I didn't know that like 2-3 years ago, but like dragging in certain sounds into Serum is like an awesome trick rather than like just using presets. But obviously, using Serum is really important because, like, actually, if you're using Serum, you don't really know what's going on. It kind of can really be really hard to understand what you're doing. If you have a basic idea on how presets work, and I feel like that really helps. I feel like if you start with presets and Serum before you actually do more sound design, that's really helpful for like starting producers. You know what I mean?
I want to talk about, because there's something I don't think people explore, and it's the influence of video games on producers. And I was wondering if you found, because I saw you did a Call of Duty flip. Do you find that some video game music inspires you or helps you sort of get creative and inspired to do a track?
Definitely. Well, obviously, because I like the whole dark industrial kind of thing. Zombies. I heard that I was just at my cousin's house and we're just smashing the zombies. So fun. And it's like I heard that song, this song in the background. I was like, holy shit, I have to remix this. And that's how the same thing worked with like the Evanescence remix. But yeah, video games. A lot of video games have like that really kind of like. I feel like especially when it comes to like COD, they have like a lot of like metal, industrial, grungy kind of music, and I love it.
Well, Trent Reznor did one of the songs on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. He did the title screen. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Juicy J sampled it later on.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not a massive video game person. Like, my favorite games are like Call of Duty. I fucking love Ratchet and Clank. I'm not sure if you've heard of Ratchet and Clank.
Oh yeah, for sure, of course.
That was the fucking best game ever. Crash Bandicoot.
The best.
Yeah, best game. But they're my favorite games.
Do you find the music in video games doesn't get enough credit like traditional music?
Definitely. Well, I feel like because Call of Duty has like a massive spectrum, like it's got like a massive amount of following all around the world. Yeah. That like the music they'll put the theme songs on YouTube and people will like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, I guess.
Okay, I was just curious. We don't need to rack our brains over that. I just wanted to see if there was a culmination between video game music and producers, and sometimes there seems to be. Ben,
well, every producer is different. Like a lot of people who come from like a massive gaming background, which will lead on their creativity to that. But yeah, for me personally, like I'm not a massive video game person, but I definitely can bring on those ideas there for sure.
Ben, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Great interview, great tips. It was awesome. Before we go, is there anything you want to plug, like your SoundCloud or your new track, Dynamite?
So you can follow me on Instagram as Pretence DJ. I'm always posting little stuff, content, as much content as I can. My Twitter, hold on, let me get my Twitter out. One sec. I don't even know my own Twitter name. How stupid is that? Pretence Music is my Twitter. SoundCloud, Pretence, and my Spotify, Pretence. Yeah, thank you for having me, man. It was
no
awesome.
problem. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, man. Take it easy.
See you, Ben. Bye-bye.